It's the big bombastic 158th episode of SETI BIMCO Part 2, The Revenge, the show that answers the question, should this movie have a revenge sequel? And we'll explain why it's a little bit different.
Just a little bit.
Because this week I chose a movie. We're done with the 50 nifty states, and it's back to our roots, and I chose just a movie called Bigfoot from 1970, 7 years before Star Wars. Only 7 years before Star Wars this was made.
Do you think this influenced Chewbacca?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Obviously, Chewbacca is Bigfoot-centric. But before we do this, I have an age-old question about revenge.
Uh-huh. Oh, I'm glad we're keeping this part of the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did Bobby Erickson, he lived in Minnesota, George. You're going to ask who he is. He worked at Enterprise Rental Cars.
Oh, okay.
Did he ever get revenge on his parents for waiting until he was 18 to tell him that Santa Claus was not real, but the Easter pedophile was real?
Oh, why is this even...
I workshop these jokes. Workshop.
Who do you workshop them with?
With you.
It's SETI BIMCO Part 2, The Revenge.
But it's SETI BIMCO Part 2.
God damn it.
And now it is, if you're a regular listener, just the show that asks the question, does this movie deserve a sequel, a revenge sequel or not? Because we just wanted to shorten the show. We wanted to change it. You know, in fact, if 500 fans write in and they want us to go back to telling a whole story at the end, I'll do it. 500.
Yeah, it turns out the stories were woefully unpopular.
No, but people love them.
People hated them. They weren't as hated as the old age jokes up front, but Tim, we'll have to pry those out of Tim's cold dead hands. But it was a lot of work, especially for Tim. I mean, listeners know I didn't write anything. I just kind of flew by the seat of my pants, and will continue to fly by the seat of my pants. But Tim would spend, I don't know,
2 days.
how long would you spend on it? Was it really?
No.
I could see that in a weird way, because they were very long.
My wife was like, what are you doing in the bathroom?
And you would be like crying.
Yes.
Poor producer Miss Lee.
But it's a big relief just to have it feels like such a relaxed episode. I don't have to look up facts or flags.
Yeah. No more reports about like states up front. Actually, Tim, you're right. That was kind of, I put off watching this movie to the last possible second as a result. Finished watching it a half hour ago.
Oh my God.
Movie. Yeah, I know it stresses you out. That's the way I like to roll.
Well,
and it's still fresh in my memory because you'll look at your notes. You'll be like, "What does this mean?" And I'm like, "I know what it means because I just saw it."
I know what it means. Also,
yeah, it's a new.
One more change.
Yeah.
We're never going to talk about in the show John Tyler, the 10th president of the United States. So don't ask us. We're not talking about him. He was a Whig. That's all I'll say.
This is another joke you're workshopping here?
No,
it's a good one.
We're not going to be talking about that president.
Right. It's good. Yeah.
By the way, I'm Tim Hamilton. We didn't even do that.
Yeah, I'm George O'Connor and SETI BIMCO. I think we need to work on a new, since we're no longer the most revenge-driven podcast.
Still revenge.
I think we need to work on a new catchphrase. How about the most bewildering humor-based podcast?
I like it.
With the question mark, yeah. We don't even have, we finished so many things recently, Tim. We finished our 50 Stifty, our 50 Nifty tour. 50 Stifty. That sounded dirty. We did the dried husk of England that America came out of. That was such a long thing.
We completed our
feud
with Bat and Spider.
We got. Oh, I thought we weren't going to say their names either. We accepted their unconditional surrender. They're trying to get back in our good graces by blatantly doing movies that we've done already. They're trying to be like, see, guys, we want to be like you. See, we're doing Roar 2 now. See, do you like us now? But we're not going to bite.
There's more to it than that, George. On the Discord, last week's episode, you know what they talked a lot about?
What?
Canal boats. It was canal boat talk.
This is going way back to before I joined the podcast. Because Tim has his pulse on what's popular. That's why we are burning up the...
There's like three narrowboat shows on a streaming service.
That's what podcast audiences want to hear about. They're like, tell us more about old English people going through the locks and backwater ways of England.
They get so angry when they can't get by each other.
Oh, man. We are the worst podcast.
They don't even offer each other tea. It's usually they do.
So that's, I mean, do they offer each other Grey Poupon?
No.
If we're throwing out old references no one will get? Okay. While we're throwing out things, though, I also want to remind people we are in the market for a new feuding partner since we crushed our last one. So if you are a podcast or an entity that is looking to have a battle with two seasoned cartoonists of questionable humor content, write to us. The SETI Bimco with an E at the end at gmail.com. Or, you know what, in your own podcast, just lay into us and then send us a link so we can hear it and get our dander up.
I've got my Google searches set for bad-mouthing SETI Bimco.
That's weird. What if they don't badmouth it? What if they just
mentions.
poo-poo it? Will it come up then? Oh,
Mentions.
man. Do you think... Here's a question, Tim. Do you think anyone has ever mentioned SETI Bimco?
They have.
Ooh.
Come on.
I think we exist in a void. So now that we aren't doing like little like reports of each state, like,
Well,
I don't know, what happened in your life? I noticed you're totally nude. Like, I was hoping you would address it before now, but you haven't. What's
you can
going
only
on?
see me from the head up.
I know, but you keep jumping out of your seat abruptly.
Well, maybe I'm excited. I wish I had something exciting to say about. I went to the DMV, but it was just boring sitting in line. Nothing happened.
Did you have to do it to get your real ID so you can safely travel and not be locked up in an ICE detainment center?
Yeah. Of course, I'm not. Yeah.
Did you? You could set up appointments for that.
You
That's
do.
the
I
secret.
did, and it's still.
Oh, you
I
still
sat
wait in
there.
line?
Yes.
God, we live in a hellscape.
The last time I went, nobody was there in Manhattan or something. I forget, years ago.
I think last time
that's
I
my
had
exciting
because
story.
this is exciting stuff. Last time I had to do D&D was during the pandemic.
Oof.
I went out to Coney Island.
Wow.
It was full. Yeah, it was exciting.
Why'd you go to Coney Island?
Because I figured there'd be less crowds.
That's where I took Jean to get her first COVID shot. My wife.
Really?
And
you met.
Remember?
You met your wife at Coney Island, right?
Yes.
She was performing in the sideshow.
She was She was
She was
also
swallowing swords, and you distracted her at a crucial moment, and she swallowed the sword completely.
No, she was also shooting the freak. If you remember that game.
Oh yeah, we should explain that to people.
Paintball. Was it a paintball thing?
Was it called? It wasn't called Shoot the Freak. It was
Or the clown, or something.
It was. I think it was called. It was more of a harsh term than.
Shoot the.
It was like Murder the Freak or something. It was basically it was a quote unquote like carnival game where a person would be wearing like some padded clothing and a little bit of football helmet and goggles, and then you would pay, I forget how many dollars it was, but you'd get like 10 shots from a paint bullet gun.
Yep.
And they would just kind of be running around in this like lot that there was a little bit of stuff to hide behind.
Broken glass, dirty diapers that were spread around.
That's everywhere. And you would just shoot them.
Did you do it?
I watched it so many times. I don't remember if I ever actually did it.
No, I didn't.
I feel like I wouldn't want to cross him. Like, I didn't want to like maybe like actually shoot him and then have him find me after hours.
Yes.
Coney Island is a great place, people. Like, I love it. Me and my family make a point of going there every year. We all just get really drunk and stuff. We've had some really fun adventures out in Coney Island.
Yeah.
But it's also, the thing that makes Coney Island so great is the air of danger about it. And it's been getting less in recent years.
Yeah.
But you can still go to Coney. Like, one time, Tim, I used a public restroom in Coney Island.
Ooh.
I mean, can you believe that? Yeah.
I cannot.
Dangerous
I mean, you
stuff.
have to, but.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what the
a lot
beach
of people
is for.
don't.
It's like a giant litter box.
Did you ever eat outside at Nathan's?
Of course.
Because that's also dangerous. There's at least.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be mean. I'm sorry. Our things are like this. But
This is already getting mean. I know you're going to say this is mean. Why are you going through this part?
The army of homeless people that just circle you while you eat. Is that what you're saying? I don't mean to be mean.
Like,
I'm
that's not
sorry.
funny.
They're homeless.
Cut this out. Yeah. Why are we talking about this?
I'm not
Cut this
laughing
out.
that they're homeless. I'm just saying.
You literally are laughing.
That's what happens when you eat outside at Nathan's.
Why not make a story up about seagulls?
And seagulls.
The big seagulls. There's big seagulls, Tim. Let's
both.
talk about the movie. Yeah, this is why we can't go off script with you. This is why we can't do revenge stories anymore, because Tim goes to dark places.
Hello, Sheriff. It's something terrible happened. Another one of them preacher stories. Only this one tops them all. It took off with this girl, he thinks.
What do these creatures want? The only thing I can figure out is that they're a dying race. They want to reproduce more of their own kind.
Catch
go for the risk of all lives.
But all I want to do is get my girl back.
I got guns and lights out in the car.
No!
So this movie it's Bigfoot, 1970. I have a little bit of facts. You probably have some facts too, right?
Yeah, maybe we got the same ones. I don't know.
Yeah, the state flag of Maryland is... fooled you. No. It's produced by Anthony Cardoza.
Could you find his name anywhere else?
Yeah, he's...
I didn't look.
If you are a Mystery Science Theater fan, this guy has 4 movies that were done at Mystery Science Theater.
Wow.
The Beast of Yucca Flats.
Oh, yeah.
Hellcats, Skydivers, and Red Zone Cuba.
Skydivers. There's a skydiver in this.
Yeah, and like...
Hellcats? Is that motorcycles?
Yes, if I recall correctly. And Red Zone Cuba also has a lot of small planes. The guy obviously had access to small planes.
He did.
It was directed by someone named Robert Slatzer, who did not have a blue link, but I think they also did direct Hellcats.
Okay.
It was with the same guy. And it is starring John Carradine, Joy Lansing, Anthony Cardoza's wife, Joy Wilkerson, Sigourney Weaver's uncle, yet another child of Bing Crosby, if you were someone who listens to the show, and then two relatives of Robert Mitchum.
Brothers, right? Were they both brothers? Or
one was his younger brother, and one was like, I think, his son.
And
so it was like a...
Lindsay Crosby played Wheels in the biker gang.
Yeah, who...
Every biker gang needs a Wheels.
Yeah, I didn't... I spent most of this movie like, who's Wheels?
They say it once.
It is the first movie ever to star a Bigfoot.
Really?
Yeah,
really?
Because if you distinguish it from a Yeti, which I do,
okay,
because this is only a couple years after the Patterson-Gimlin film made Bigfoots famous. So, like, this is the first time, it's all over the place when you read about trivia this is their big claim to fame. Like, prior to this, there were movies about Yetis and ape men and stuff, but this is the first time it's literally the Pacific Northwest Bigfoot / Sasquatch.
This is before the famous one where the students go looking for like a mummified Bigfoot that's famously bad.
No,
I'll have to look up what year that is.
That sounds, the mummified part does, but that sounds like previous Seddy Bimco film, Shriek of the Mutilated.
No, it's just...
Which actually was a Yeti, if I recall.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just it's one of those movies that starts with, these students went looking for Bigfoot. Only 2 came back. You know, it's that the kind of thing. And then there's this guy with it. It's just like Cry of the...
Can you do some research? Can we do that as a future episode?
Oh, it's out there. It's terrible.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Let's do it as a future movie. Because I will say, like, and I'm being honest here, there's something intriguing to me about the idea of them finding a mummified Bigfoot.
Yeah,
like,
it's terrible.
This movie has the idea of finding dead Bigfoots, which I found very interesting too. Like it locked me in for some reason. I'm like, oh. I don't know. It just gives them a sense of false history or something.
It also introduces the idea of Bigfoots are kidnapping women to breed, which I've never really seen in any Bigfoot movie.
Did you see the fucking movie poster for this thing?
Yes.
The tagline, the official tagline for this movie, everybody, is America's abominable snowman breeds with anything.
Oh, I didn't even read that. Wow.
Jesus Christ. Like, that's what you go see this movie. It's like, what's it going to breed with? A lamp? Maybe. My pet dog? Sure, why not? We don't know what's going on. Now, this is the best piece of trivia I found in this whole thing. So, I guess the second billed star in this movie is Joy Lansing, who is apparently a pretty famous TV actress. She's called TV's Marilyn Monroe.
Okay. Yes.
Did you hear about this whole story?
No.
So, unfortunately, this is the last movie she ever did. She died of cancer just a couple years after this movie.
Is she the one that jumps out of an airplane?
Yeah. And while on this movie, she she met a woman named Alexis Hunter, who was playing one of the Bigfoots, because there's multiple Bigfoots in this movie.
Alexis
she played
Hunter.
A character. She
sounds like a Playboy centerfold.
She does, but she's... So she was only 20 years old at the time this movie was filmed. Joy Lansing was, I think, 37 or 44. Sources disagree.
Okay.
And she played female Bigfoot, which I didn't realize this would be female.
No, you couldn't see it.
I realized after reading that I have a whole revelation about this movie, which I'll share later. But apparently, according to Alexis Hunter, they had a relationship for 3 years. The last 3 years of Joy's life.
Okay.
And she wrote a book about it a few years ago called Joy Lansing, A Body to Die For.
Wow.
Like about there.
A few years ago she wrote it?
Yeah, because Alexis Hunter's still alive. She waited, but now she's like in her 70s, so she waited till she was an older woman to write this story. And part of this thing, while those 3 years in Hollywood, she would pretend to be the sister of Joy Lansing, Rachel Lansing, in order to protect her from people who were not friendly to gays back then.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh. I wonder why she waited to write the
Interesting.
book. Is there like telltale Hollywood tales in it or something?
My theory is that, I mean, it's all about her having a secret lesbian love affair with a fairly well-known actress.
But she could have written that book like in the 90s. I mean, I just
Yeah,
wondered
but there's
why.
probably a statute of limitations. Maybe she was waiting for like the actual husband of, because Joy Lansing was married to her manager at that point. So maybe she was. Who knows?
Who knows?
Wait until there's nobody left to contradict your story.
Here's my trivia I read. John Carradine's in this movie, and he's the father of David Carradine, who you probably know of. So I guess it is when he died. This is what John Carradine says. We carted the coffin over to our house and opened it up.
Wait, David Carradine said this or John Carradine said
Dave
this?
Carradine said this about his father, John Carradine.
Oh, okay.
That
I think
when
he
he
said
died,
John.
we carted the coffin over to our house and opened it up. I looked down at him. The undertaker had put a dynamic, artificial grin on his face like nothing I'd ever seen him do in real life, except in a horror film. So I reached out, and using the sculptural skills I'd learned from him, I remodeled his face to be more natural like him. Then I poured half a bottle of J&B Scotch, his favorite, down his throat, and we had a wake.
This is the same David Carradine who famously died from autoerotic asphyxiation, right?
Is that how he died? I forgot.
Isn't it? Wait, we let's get the SETI lawyers on it. Producer Miss Lee, can you confirm whether that's true?
Yes, according to Wikipedia, David Carradine died possibly from autoerotic asphyxiation.
Yeah, and it was ruled not a suicide because he was. Yeah, so how about that, David Carradine?
Oof. He sculpted his dad's face back to its normal look.
I like that in that little story, like not to speak ill of the dead and not to speak ill of the dead mourning more dead, but like just to mention that bit, like using the sculpting skills taught to me by my. It's like what?
His father was an artist at first. I read about his life.
Was he? Okay, cool.
He did sketches traveling across America, and he went to Hollywood.
Yep. Apparently, he had like a 340 something film credits. He was like, very good. I don't know what he's doing in this movie.
Oh, come on! Later in life, he was in a lot of bad movies.
Was he? I guess.
Oh,
I figured he needed to I need to repaint my garage. Let me go be in Bigfoot 1970.
He was like in Moses. I think I saw. Big time movies like that.
He was in the original. He knew Moses, right? Tim. All right. So do you want to read the synopsis of this movie?
Okay. I didn't copy one, but I'll just say. Biker,
I did.
You do it.
Okay. This is literally what it says on IMDb. Bigfoot kidnaps some women, and some bikers decide to go on a rescue mission to save them. Verbatim, cut and paste from IMDb.
It starts with this lady you talked about.
Yeah, Joy Lansing.
There's no point for her being in the movie. Sasquatch could have kidnapped a biker lady, but
it would have made more sense.
Yeah, because this lady has a nice car. Is it a convertible? And she has a very nice car. She drives to this little tiny independent airport somewhere. You immediately notice too. I'm like this lady's like very done up. Like she's dressed for a party.
Yeah, she's dressed like in the super 60s tastic or maybe early 70s. Mm-hmm. Like she looks like a super glam woman, and she's in this like blue jumpsuit that like almost like looked superhero-y.
Yeah.
And she gets into this prop plane. Ironically, because this is a movie with bad sound quality, the first line in the movie is her saying "clear."
She does no pre-flight checks. Yeah, clear.
Nope.
Nothing.
There's no introduction to who the character is. She's not talking about us except for on the radio to say a few things.
That plane looks like the plane from Temple of Doom, I have to say, right? Looks like the same type of type of plane.
No. The plane in Temple of Doom is pretty big. There's enough room for Indiana Jones to fall asleep in the back with a bunch of crates of chickens around.
And a boat.
And there's two pilots. And a boat. And
two other people.
And Short Round. And
Steven Spielberg's
Willie.
wife.
And Steven Spielberg's wife. Yeah. So she gets to the plane and just goes flying.
Yeah. We don't know where she's
like
going.
kind of like we don't know where. There's no information. She's kind of scanning outside. Like I'm like, is she looking for Bigfoot? Because the movie's called Bigfoot.
Looking for a party.
She's driving like She's flying like a nervous driver. She's like clutched up to like the steering wheel of the plane, like staring out. I'm like, what's going on here?
But then we meet John Carradine. It's Jasper and Elmer. John Carradine and his sidekick in a car.
Yeah.
Jasper.
Elmer is played by one of the two Mitchums.
They're both like country bumpkins.
Yeah.
So sorry,
I wrote goobers,
country
but yeah.
bumpkins. Going to make fun of you.
Yeah.
And
their station wagon is destroyed.
Yes, a rope keeps the doors shut.
A rope ties it shut. It has no flat headlights.
Did you see this when they were driving towards us? I think they're supposed to be playing music, but I couldn't hear music, and it looked like Elmer was dancing in his seat. Did you even notice this?
Wait, where did you watch this?
You was it on Tubi? It was on Tubi.
I watched it on Tubi because I even have a note here that they meanwhile on ground in woods, two goobers driving a beat up old station wagon to kinda country music.
Okay.
So I definitely had music, but I wonder if you watched a different print where they had to take the music out.
Just bad music, I think.
Yeah, it was just like it was some kind of like 6 steps removed from like something you might hear in Deliverance was playing.
Yeah, it's a piece of junk car. They're selling stuff,
Yeah.
and
They
they
have
need
a mobile
water.
store, I guess. Yeah, because the car keeps overheating.
And Jasper treats Elmer terrible. It's like, get down there
Yeah.
and get me some creek water. His truck is just full of stuff. George, you know what his truck is full of?
What is your list? Oh my god.
Old issues of Playboy.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Did one of them star Joy Lansing? Because she never posed nude. I learned that when I went to her Wikipedia
That's
page.
why she's not in it. This issue, 1969, June, Pixie Curls.
Uh-huh. Pixie Curls.
Her turn-ons were hairy men.
Hairy men. Oh, whoa. Okay.
Turn-offs, hairy men with big feet.
Her
Her hobby, heritage wine tasting.
Okay.
Her biggest regret, not meeting Ernest Borgnine's back.
Because he's hairy.
Her favorite pet, Harriet the hamster.
Weird. Okay.
Her favorite book,
Could have gone with any animal that's hairy, but yeah.
Harriet the spy.
The spy. Yep. Okay. You're gonna keep using the Harriet joke, huh? All right. Let's go.
And her guilty pleasure,
Harriet something. Harriet. Yeah.
fostering hairless cats. That's all.
Okay.
The end.
Nice. Folks, it's lists like that are the reason why we need to cut down the amount of prep work that goes into a Seddy Bimco episode. Because you can't do a revenge sequel and write a list where Harriet is the joke 3 times.
I just did.
Oh, wait, you did, Tim.
It's like
You
4
proved me
times. I had so many more. Motorcycles.
We
I
do
think.
see, I do feel like we mentioned, like, as Elmer goes down to the river to get water, a few motorbikers zoom by and almost run over Jasper. So we're like, oh, these 2 paths will intersect.
And Elmer.
go
ahead.
While Elmer's at the water, he hears like weird noises and sees some giant footprints.
And I will say, every time they're in the forest and they're going to see something, you can see that switches to like a indoor set, like fake forest.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
you know.
Because a lot of this was filmed on location in California, as Wikipedia pointed out, where actual Bigfoots were seen.
While
But
filming.
at some point later. This is early. So like this movie, I think, even though it's garbage, and but it's so early in the history of Bigfoot, Tim, I think it's influential in what all the people who are going in the woods looking for fake monkey men would see. So they're like,
he
oh,
sees
that looks like the
footprints.
area. Yeah, he sees footprints. They're big.
How many toes did you count?
I counted. There was fucking 5. I was very pleased.
Very good.
Yeah. Listen to previous Seddy Bimco episode, The Beast of Boggy Creek, to hear how the amount of toes a primate have is often a controversial subject.
Isn't it just Boggy Creek? That's the name of the movie.
What I call it?
Influential movie. You said Beast of Boggy Creek. Isn't it just Boggy Creek?
It might be.
That's
I
the
think it's
movie where
yeah,
the guy's trying to say he has some footprints in their 3 toes.
Let's see.
Well,
then
he runs back up and he's like, doesn't he say something's in that woods?
he's like, there's something weird. Yeah, he runs away. He's like, I heard something weird there.
What Jasper says, he says, you travel with me, you'll see a lot of things you never done saw before. Did you hear him? He said that.
Yeah. Okay, is this a list?
Yeah, because I just got 2 to get out of the way. There was nothing else.
Right off the bat, though. Like, Tim, we are literally not even up to the credits of the movie. You already have 2 lists. This is troubling.
So Jasper tells him a list of things, if you stick with me, things you'll never see that you've never seen before. Sorry.
Okay, like what, Tim? Yep.
A machine what blows water up your butt. They call it a bidet.
What blows? Okay.
Another machine what blows water up your butt. They call it a water pick. And he says, and yeah, there's another machine what blows water up your butt. It's called Old Lady Hannigan's sprinkler system. There you go. That's it.
I just want to remind everybody, Tim revealed that he writes his jokes while sitting in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Want to bet he was blowing water up his butt while he wrote this?
I don't have that
evidence
bite.
point. If you do have a water pick, I bet.
Probably.
Hey, Gene, I done found myself a bidet. That's the water pick, Tim. Then we cut back to Joy's plane as the engine suddenly conks out.
Right.
She frantically radios for help and then almost immediately just parachutes out. I'm like, wait.
Because she didn't do no pre-check.
She didn't do a pre-check. And wouldn't you try maybe to land the plane? So there's a kind of funny like bit of camera where we hear like camera work where from a camera's point of view we hear as it crashes. We don't, obviously this movie couldn't afford to crash the plane, so we don't see that. And she jumps out in her hilarious blue jumpsuit. She lands on the ground. She takes it off, and she's in this like gold orange disco suit,
ready for a party.
No bra on, just like she's babe-tacular. I'm like, where was she going?
And she's instantly accosted by Bigfoot. Right?
Or something. We don't see it, yes. It's good bet it's a Bigfoot. She screams, and we freeze frame in her face. Then we get the credits where we see it's just it's very long credits.
Well,
it's
James Steller played Bigfoot. He has no other credits.
Yep.
But
James Steller's Bigfoot, eighth wonder of the world.
yeah, there's a lot of King Kong stuff in this.
Yeah. Then we cut to some store where there's
a store run by old men. I was so happy.
Yep, it was such a Tim thing. I'm like, this is a very Tim movie. It's got Bigfoot. It's got people biking, like lots of scenes of people biking. It's got a store with old men. There's a guy who's just like trying to steal an ice cooler. I'm like, what's going on here?
$2.
$2. Well, that's the current currency. Current to play the music.
Yeah.
George's current currency.
Figured.
Did you play music?
It did. Can't you hear it?
All right, Tim. No, I can't. It's like you couldn't hear the music before.
I'm going to say it cost
Tim,
$30 today.
Oh, that's your bet?
$30.
$2 in 1970, Tim says, is the spending power of $30 today. A little bit too much, Tim. It's actually $16.54.
I've been ripped off for those ice chests I bought for $30, I guess.
But I also like that character, who at this point we don't really know who they are. I'm like, he doesn't understand that you just can't like walk out and steal things.
Yeah, he doesn't try to steal. He's just like, oh, okay, here's your money.
Yeah,
right?
And did you catch that? He's that guy later, the big stupid slob. He's kind of a major character.
He's just a stupid slob.
But we don't know this yet. He's an idiot. He's something wrong with this guy.
Something very wrong with that guy.
Yeah, that's right.
All
the motor kids drive off just as Jasper and Elmer pull up in their beat up car.
And the old guys are like, keep it down. I'm reading Carter's Crew. And then the Lockhorns. And Boner's Ark.
Oh no, Tim! In this new era of SETI BIMCO, you're going to stick to like mentioning old comic strips as jokes. Huh?
Carter's Crew, come on.
Carter's Crew.
They're reading the papers,
and then Jasper and Elmer pull up, and they try to sell the store owner like the junk that they have in the car for beer, but he's like the motorcyclist took all the beer and blah blah blah. They're just hanging out there, and we learned later they're hanging out there for hours trying to sell stuff and just harassing them. Then we cut back to the motocross kids. There's like 90 of them.
Yeah, I know.
And two of them just kind of pull off. They're like,
Rick.
hey, Rick
and his girlfriend, who I didn't get her name.
I think it was Vicky.
Because she gets kidnapped, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
And she, by the way, is the real-life wife of the guy who is the producer of the movie.
Nice.
And they like want to go off. They talk to Wheels. We don't know he's Wheels at this point. But they're like, we're going to go pull off and have some alone time. And Wheels' girlfriend's like, we know what that means. And then we cut to
him
Vicky,
fully dressed.
we'll call her. He's fully dressed. She's laying in a lime green bikini on a.
Ooh, George, I think it was yellow.
We're going to have a fight over this, Tim.
Lime green. Who would wear lime green bikini?
I think she would. I think this lady would. She's just laying on a blanket, staring up the sky, because he's like, I want to go look on my bike.
I know.
So while she's bored by his inattentiveness, she just goes wandering off the woods in her lime green bikini while music plays.
Hey, George.
Yep.
You know why he wanted to work on his bike instead of spend time with his girlfriend?
How many lists are we dealing with here today?
Well,
I'm getting really worried. I'm going to actually request, if we're going to have this many lists, you have to start writing stories again, because we need to make you stop.
This is much easier.
This is ridiculous.
Why does Rick want to spend more time with his bike than his girlfriend? Well, he can be the one to blow a gasket. Oh. He can tell all his...
Tim, I'm so tired. Tim.
He can tell...
I'm just so tired.
All his secret desires to his bike without his bike laughing at him. Mm-hmm. And when he rides his bike... He can ride. He can ride his bike without the bike complaining that he needs to wear a helmet. There you go.
Tim.
What?
How many more lists are coming? I want to steal myself for this.
That's about it.
No, I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true.
Oh, there is one more. There's one more.
There's one at the end, I know.
There's one more.
Oh, man.
So she walks off. Sorry.
The camera angles here are the most bizarre thing. Like, we're watching them 20 feet away through trees.
It's fake trees.
Like, they're hiding stuff. Yeah, fake trees. And she's like, I found something. We can't see it because of the camera angles. But they eventually reveal it's an old burial ground.
Yep.
Which is like, and like Rick is like, this looks fresh. So he immediately starts to unearth one of the graves. Like, fucking lunatic. And like about 2 inches down, we'll say, he finds a rubber monkey face.
Kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Feels rubber, but.
Yeah, which again, I think the idea of finding like a dead Bigfoot is like, there's a good movie in there somewhere, and it's not this. And then immediately a guy in a monkey suit runs out, goes, grr, grr. Like, punches Rick and then carries off the girl in the lime green bikini.
Or the yellow one.
Or the lime green one. So what do we... Should we talk about this?
Well, what? What do you want to talk about?
Like, much later. What do we think of this Bigfoot costume?
My
a little
film
bit too clearly.
was so degraded. I could tell they were bad-looking Bigfoots, but I couldn't see how bad. Because they were just a big dark blob. I don't know how much the suit hung on them.
I think you must have seen a different print than mine, because mine, at this point, I could see at least that the gloves were separate parts. And it was still pretty bad, but there was a little bit I could see. Yeah.
I saw their faces. They weren't great.
Yeah, they kind of had faces. Some of them seemed to... Spoilers, there's a lot of Bigfoots.
Yeah,
some of them seem to have just human faces painted with remedial makeup, and some of them have just like gorilla faces stuck on. And then there's the big Bigfoot, which I'm like, I don't even know what was going on with that thing.
Well, George, as we know, we think some of them were half human, half Bigfoot, as our ladies
I didn't put that
surmise.
together for a long time, yeah.
The lady, what's her name? The pilot.
Joy.
She's one who's
get this.
smart.
The actor's name is Joy Lansing, and the character's name is Joy Landis.
Okay.
They just didn't, and that may be like your idea, like why is she in this movie? I feel like it was like at the last second, they're like, holy shit, we got Joy Lansing to appear in this movie. Yeah. Let's add in a scene where she jumps out of an airplane for no apparent reason.
Right.
Let's see.
Back at the store?
We briefly see the other motorcycle guys. We learn a little bit more about the guy who's a big slob because
he wants to beat up on a woman. Like she called me a big slob.
And she goes, I called you a big dumb slob. And then he goes, I like when she screams. She screams so nice. I'm like, what is
Then she
this
said,
guy?
you big nerve herder.
And then he goes, who's scruffy looking? Rick wakes up. He sees his girlfriend is missing. He goes to find his friends. So he only finds a comical amount of empty beer cans.
Yeah, they must have been here.
So then he arrives at the store where Jasper and Elmer, we learn, have been sitting for 2 hours trying to sell garbage to these people. And they're like, finally, like, you have to leave.
It's like me reading a list to you. You're like, you got to leave.
Tim, you got to go. I'm not giving you beer.
And he's not all that upset. He's just like, where's the phone?
He's not. He's like, can I have your phone? Like, this guy was beaten up by first he found a dead Sasquatch, was beaten up by a living Sasquatch, knocked unconscious, so he's probably concussed. As far as he knows, his girlfriend was carried off by him, wearing only a lime green bikini.
Was he Crosby's son? Because he got the most airtime.
Yeah, no, he's not Crosby's son. He was Mitchum's son.
Ah, see, I knew somebody.
Yeah. Crosby's son was Wheels.
And did you see the junk Jasper was selling?
I couldn't understand what that shit was. Is this a list?
He had rocks you could keep his pets.
Rocks?
No, rocks you could keep his pets. He had a cube that you could name Rubik's. Mm-hmm. And he had cabbages that you could pretend were kids. They just, none of this stuff was selling. Had the words all mixed up.
Tim, your delivery today is stellar.
It's stellar.
You're reading these too. That's what's so funny. It's right in front of you.
Trying to do it in his voice. He has cabbages. What you could pretend were kids.
So So Mitchum's Rick goes in. Yeah. He calls the sheriff, and the sheriff they don't believe him. They're like, oh, it's none of those creature calls. One of the guys is just cleaning a rifle as he's listening. I'm like, oh, he's definitely going to spree shooting later.
This whole town is like, yep. Every week someone calls about a creature. It's like the whole town has heard about this, and they're always like, yeah, it's not
always
real.
Very dismissive. And the sheriff is fine. They're like, I mean, the sheriff. It's so funny. Like the sheriff's not listening to him.
No.
And he's like, "Where are you calling from?" He's like, "Bennett's store." He's like, "Put on Bennett." And like the guy Rick is like, he drops the phone. He's like, "He wants to talk to you." He's acting like a fucking child. He's like, a monkey just carried off your girlfriend. And Bennett gets on and goes, I feel like the boy's telling the truth. Could be a lot of weird stuff happening around here. So the sheriff's like, yeah, I'll come up in the morning. Spoilers, he doesn't.
No.
Or no, he does maybe. I don't know.
They all come up near the end of the movie.
And Rick calls Wheels, which I don't understand, because aren't they like a bunch of bikers who are riding around?
Did he actually call him?
Yeah, he calls
in the
Wheels.
movie, I didn't know why the bikers knew he needed help. I was like, how do they know?
He makes a second call, and I didn't realize who Wheels was. He calls Wheels. I'm like, oh boy, there's going to be like some badass that comes. Because I didn't figure he'd be able to call his friends because they were just a roving game of bikers, but I guess one has a cell phone.
I guess so.
And he goes...
Walkie-talkies.
Yeah. And so eventually, because nobody's going to help him, and he's mildly alarmed, Elmer and Jasper, who have guns and flashlights, agree to go with him into the woods.
Well, Jasper's like, I smell money. Get myself one of them live Sasquatches. They have a dead one. The whole time I'm like, you got a dead one. Just take it and go.
Well, they don't yet, but that's the thing. I wrote this. It's like, so they go traipsing through the woods. Jasper, John Carradine, Elmer. And the two Mitchum boys. He takes them to the grave. They pull it open. He goes, this must be one of those fern cemeteries. They see the dead monkey right there. And I'm like, why not grab the body?
Yeah.
You immediately take that. You go back out because you're only walking around for like 5 minutes. Like, Elmer's still wearing a suit, for God's sake.
Elmer the whole time's like, my legs can't take it much more, Jasper. He's like toothpicks about to bust.
So they know that they have incontrovertible proof in 1970 of the existence of Bigfoot. The first movie it appears in, there's like a corpse that now multiple people have seen, and nobody thinks to ever, like, I don't know, pick it up.
Right.
Yep.
And I guess, I don't know if this happens, but this is the only shot in the movie I'm like, this looks pretty good and creepy. The girl's tied to trees with fog. Because I didn't expect anything to even look remotely good in this movie, but it was kind of a creepy, well-filmed scene.
I have a lot of things to say about. So the two women, one who's wearing like a kind of gold, like the Joy wearing like a gold disco suit. She's very jiggly, lots of free foam. Like it's a lot. And then the other lady in her green bikini. They're both tied up. They're standing very demurely. It's hilarious. Yes. They're like in like these contrapposto poses.
And Joy knows all these facts, which I'm sure you wrote down.
I wrote down a lot. Like what? So first, blind green bikini lady's like, what do these creatures want? And she's like, they're more human than you think. I think they're a dying race looking to reproduce. So already it's like, I don't like what this movie is suggesting. No. And they're like, and the bikini lady's like, what are they? And then Joy's like, have you ever heard of The Gap?
Yeah.
I'm like, what, the place that sells jeans? And she's like, the gap between Neanderthal and human? And I'm like, Tim.
I know. Yeah, Tim, me.
And so she's saying they're like this, okay, I'm like, okay, so we're establishing they're primates. They talk about a lot. Like, there's a lot of information here. She, like Tim said, she is the only smart person in the entire movie, even though she did immediately parachute out of her plane without calling any flight plans or anything. And then this is chilling because there's just almost like you hear like a ... and Bikini's like, have they done anything to you yet? Right. I'm like, ew. And Joy is like, nah, they're saving me for something important. They seem to be afraid of something else in this mountain.
Yes.
Something more powerful than they are. And we learned also that apparently there was another woman at one point who was taken off. She's like, what happened to her? I'm like, what?
I know.
And like, she's like, they took her away and she never came back. I'm like,
they take a lot.
Why is this in this movie?
They take a lot of women. Nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
She also says one of them, she goes, I think that one's half human.
Yeah, because they're left to. That's a little bit later, I think. They're watched to like. There's a kid left to watch it, and they're like, it's like that one's different. She's like, they leave the baby to watch it. I think it's a hybrid. And the actor playing this one, you could see their human face with like just dark circles painted in their eyes and fake teeth. And that one, actually, now that I think about it, that one might be the woman who had the affair with Joy Lansing.
It could be,
because she mentions. And the little excerpt of the book I wrote, sitting there in a makeup chair next to her, getting her face painted and fur glued on with fake teeth in.
Oof. I couldn't see.
And the other ones were wearing monkey suits.
My film stock was so bad.
This is interesting. We saw two different versions then. It's this interjecting with scenes with Elmer, Jasper, and Rick looking for them and just arguing.
They wander around the woods. Elmer just, my legs.
Also, there's
my
scenes
feet.
of just motorbiking, which I wrote, Tim must dance excitedly, because there's scenes of just the motorbikers biking around. The three Bigfoots go off hunting as an owl watches them.
They go back.
Jasper is suddenly tracking them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sheriff
They
does
find
show
footprints.
up. I do have a note that he showed up at the store.
He shows up at the store, and I think I left it out because it's like...
Well, they talk about deer. I saw a
does-
12-point deer. Well, I saw a 14-point
Yeah, why?
deer. Because they want to
Why?
go hunting later.
You're also cutting a whole shit ton of stuff.
Well, we'll get to it.
Because a current currency kerner. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jasper's tracking them. They find a footprint that has 4 toes. I was mad.
Back up. 4 toes. Oh, I
yeah.
didn't see that.
Yeah, one of them had 4 toes. Really mad about it. Really mad. And they actually see the Bigfoots, and they're like, well, I'll be a 2-headed cat. And they're following them. And Elmer wants to quit at this point because he's tired. Even
His
though they
legs.
literally are following a Bigfoot. He's like, my legs. And Jasper goes, we're sitting on $1 million.
If we can.
Tim.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
This what I was trying to get to. Current currency kerner. Play
There's
music.
2 of them. I thought you had a different one. I'll play it now.
George's current currency kerner. Tim, I got it. Yeah. So this one, Tim, what does $1 million in 1970 have the spending power today?
$3 billion.
Bad guess. $8,267,912
Nice.
and 37
That's
cents.
a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Remember that number.
Okay. What was the number?
$8,267,912.37. Remember that number.
I'm already up to the fancy bike that cost $100, but I'll get there.
Yeah, that's next line.
Okay.
So, yeah, we go to the sheriff's store after this, and there's the whole weird talk about the sheep. I mean, the sheep, deer. And Bennett's daughter, her name was like Tilly or something, or Trixie.
It works there. She serves people.
Yeah, I don't know. She's probably someone famous too, or quote
She's
unquote
got to go put
related to
the
someone
gold
famous.
in the locker.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. Is that a line?
For the end of I thought you were going to say she's putting away the cash for the day. That's what she did, right?
I guess.
Go ahead. I mean, if I'm wrong, I didn't mean to interrupt.
She just says she opines to the sheriff that she thinks they're real because they left the bike there, and one of the deputies like, "What? I did notice that bike out front. That bike must cost $100."
There you go.
There you go.
Play the music.
Currency kerner 2, 3, boom. All right, Tim. Now you just learned how much $1 million costs.
This is 800.
So I was saying to remember it. $826.79. Nailed it, Tim.
I did. Although I think a motorcycle costs more. I don't know.
I know. I thought that was even the $100. Hearing that, I'm like, that was like I remember being a little kid thinking $100 was like if you had that you were rich. But I'm like, $100 doesn't sound like enough even back in 1970.
And Hank is the sheriff's deputy, or is Hank the store owner?
I didn't.
'Cause
No,
Hank-
the store owner was Bennett. I
Okay.
didn't catch Hank as a name.
Hank reminds the sheriff to get his cigars, or he'll be ornery. Just saying. And I didn't do a list of ornery things he does. So just so you know.
Normally, did you? Is there an indication in your notes to make a list? You just
Yep.
didn't get a chance
Yep.
to. Okay, because like normally when you bring out a really weird detail like that is apropos of nothing and not attached to
Well, I
anything,
loved it.
It's because you're setting.
Don't forget your cigars.
We cut back to the bikers now. Now they have found the dead monkey.
Yep. How did
This
they
is when
follow
we
this
find-
trail? I don't know how they found him, but
I assume in that phone call when he called Wheels, because we learned that one of them is Wheels. He's like, "Go to this area, and this is where we've." And like from there, you could go find like a dead monkey.
then they go into the woods.
Yep. They go riding through their bikes. They find a cabin.
Ooh.
And they're like, "Look, there's an old hippie girl out front,"
No.
which I thought you would be excited about. They say that.
Oh, okay. I thought they did say Indian because it's
No,
a Native American woman.
She's a native woman, yeah. And they describe what they're looking for, and she goes, "Sasquatch."
Oh, this is
And they go,
funny.
"What's-"
Yeah, right.
They go, "What's that?" And her husband's suddenly there, and he tells the story of Bigfoot. Musky smell, almost 9 feet high. It came up behind me, grabbed my arm. I pulled away. Lost this. So we pull out, he's got no arm. I'm like, ah!
I'm so glad.
And there's another guy with him called Slim. So I never caught his name. I called One Arm Joe.
'Cause
And Slim go with the bikers. And as they're
Sasquatch
leaving,
stole his snacks. That's why he's slim. So his
Is
name
that
is
right?
Slim.
'Cause-
Yeah.
he goes, I'm gonna when I feed that Sasquatch, I'm gonna snap into him. The dumb slob guy comes up. He goes, "Look, I found some dynamite."
I know.
And Slim's like, "That's really old." He's like, "I don't care." I'm like, "Oh,
I want
man." I'm
it.
like, so, at this point, like it's like Chekhov's dynamite. You know, it's either they're going to kill the Sasquatch with it, or in a delightful scene, he's just going to blow himself up. Because if I know one thing from watching old episodes of Lost, old dynamite is highly
Yes.
unstable.
He says he's going to bring it just in case. I
Yep.
wrote that down.
Yeah, he's a menace.
He is.
I'm like at this point, I'm like, what's wrong with this guy?
Do you think he was no one? He was not related to anyone?
I didn't look. I bet you he was. Let's see. Who do we think he? I figure he was like John Belushi's
Crosby
uncle.
Kid. Oh yeah. Well, Jasper and Elmer, they kind of get worn out, and they sit down, and Jasper says that he and Elmer have been in a lot of tight spots they got out of. And
we wouldn't have ordered Tim
What?
because
did they do that before?
Well,
They go back and forth in the woods a lot.
At some point, Jasper and Elmer and Rick get attacked by the Sasquatches.
Do they? Oh yeah.
Yeah, we left that out. That's important. They get attacked.
But do they?
And the Sasquatches tie them up next to the girls.
Okay.
So there's like 5 people tied up in the same clearing.
But I forget how they get away.
Well, first what happens is the Sasquatches come in and they grab Joy.
That's right.
And they carry her off. And Tim, she's jiggling so hard.
Yep.
Like this woman knows what to do. She's just shaking it. I must confess, I'm watching this. I'm like, I get the appeal of this movie now.
Jeez.
And
they tie her up just like Fay Ray.
They tie her up to another tree at some indeterminate distant later.
But it is like Fay Ray with one arm in each tree, if you noticed.
Yes,
it's all very King
is.
Kong-like.
There's a lot of King Kong echoes in here. I guess there was a scene in between, too, about like the ranger and sheriff basically deciding they're not going to go up again.
It's a joke because Sasquatch is in the window looking at them.
That is Sigourney Weaver's uncle.
That guy, yeah, he's famous.
Yeah. He is famous, as it turns out. His name is something Weaver. And he's basically, because they had said earlier, like, we're going to call the forest ranger, see if there's anything up. And he's like, well, I know a plane crash. I'm going to look for that. But there wouldn't be a Bigfoot because I don't miss anything the whole time there's a Bigfoot watching from the window behind him.
Yes.
And that's it. The whole scene's like 2 minutes. Like
one joke.
Welcome to the movie.
In a movie about Sasquatches having sex with ladies. That joke is in there.
With not just ladies, Tim. He'll breed with anything.
He'll breed with anything.
Like he's fucking trees. There's like half. We don't know. So the sheriff and the deputy again, like, maybe we'll go up tomorrow because the weather's bad. And I thought the weather was going to lead to something. It doesn't.
No.
It's just these guys. Like, so now for 2 days, people have been missing, and they're still like,
Yes.
I'm like, why are you in this movie?
That's when they're tied up, where Jasper says to Elmer, we've been in a lot of tight spots that we've gotten out of.
Yeah,
right?
They already were tied up at that point, yeah.
Because he says, remember the time we found that baby and raised it as our own to eventually realize it was a rabid raccoon? That was a tight spot.
What did they name that kid?
Jerry.
Jerry the rabid baby. That's weird that they raised it for so long it was rabid the whole time.
And also the time because he says this, the time they forgot to pay their KKK dues and went to the annual picnic anyway. Because at one point he says he's a Johnny Reb. I just want to point out.
He does say that.
Yep.
He doesn't say the first part, but I don't want to cut into your joke. That was weird.
And the time they tried to sell science books to schools in Florida, they almost got tarred and feathered. There you go. That was a tight spot.
So we don't go to All right. We see the bikers moving about. It's so dark at this point.
Yeah.
In my print.
I couldn't see much at all.
And we hear Jasper and Elmer in the tight spot. They do say Tim kind of had his jokes, but they're planning on escaping and kidnapping the hybrid Bigfoot baby.
Can I say one thing here? It's not a joke. I don't know if you noticed this. The sheriff does show up looking for a man. He shows a picture to the store owner. We don't see it. He said, this guy's been passing bad checks, which that's Jasper.
Yeah,
it never comes to anything. They never show his picture.
Nope.
Like, why is this scene here?
I actually just stopped writing down stuff with the sheriff because I couldn't understand why they're in the movie. They were so extraneous, but they had 6 scenes, but they never do anything important to the movie. So they're gonna steal the baby Bigfoot and show it for money because that's an easier one to do.
Yeah.
Then we cut back to Joy. She's screaming, and a bear's approaching her.
Yeah.
And also a big Bigfoot.
Big Bigfoot. He's
maybe it's hard to.
He's
tell
like the 8th wonder of the world.
And it didn't occur to me after. This is the actual Bigfoot. Every other Bigfoot we've seen, which is just guys in gorilla suits, is like a hybrid, I guess.
Maybe.
And like he's the only one left, so he's been like creating like half human hybrids. Like I think the other Bigfoots are also because they're little, like they're just like normal size. But like this guy, he's very big. And I guess he's the dude Stellar. I guess he was a big guy, or maybe he's a guy on stilts. It's hard to tell, but he is large. And then like he maybe has a fight with the bear. It's really hard to see because it's really dark.
Just like King Kong, fight with a dinosaur.
Oh, you're right.
Yep.
And it's so funny because the bear, it's Bruno the bear, who's a famous bear actor.
Oh.
He's making convincing bear noises. This movie has such piss poor Bigfoot noises. It's literally like just humans going grr, grr. It's foolish. I was mad. I'm like, come on.
No, and it never stopped.
And they're just fighting for like 5 minutes. So it's like these two dark shapes rolling around the ground, like a bear going roar, roar, and like this guy going grr, grr. And then somehow Joy escapes and she runs off jigglingly. And then I guess maybe the big Bigfoot beats the bear.
Oh yeah,
or maybe another bear.
He does take her.
Bigfoot. Another Bigfoot's chasing her. I couldn't tell. There's maybe a chase. And when I say chase,
she gets away.
Yeah, she's running around. She's like I said, she's jiggling. She's running around in like just her little disco outfit. She's barefoot, running through rocks, and then then they would cut to like the Bigfoot walking very ponderously slow after her, like Jason Voorhees or something.
Yeah,
which occurs to me as I say this, Tim. It's you know how a lot of really big guys just can't move very well.
Ooh, yeah.
It's probably that. Yeah, he's already in a Bigfoot suit.
They should have speeded it up.
He's walking. Yeah, that always looks good.
Like Benny Hill. But I could see
that actually would have been better.
Yeah, the end of this film was so dark.
Yeah, it's like they were trying to film the entire movie was filmed in 2 weeks. Oof. And I feel like they filmed the entire climax on the last day. We see the bikers again, and I think maybe they're with the sheriffs. It's hard to tell because it's so dark you can't see, but they find the dudes who are all tied up, which is, just to remind you all, it's Jasper and Elmer, and
that's right.
Rick and Rick's girlfriend, but not Joy, because she got carried off and she's having her adventure with the actual Bigfoot.
Yes.
And I don't know, like you see like the small Bigfoots coming to camp. I hear maybe a gunshot. Jasper grabs the hybrid kid. He goes, "Hold still, you little monkey." Oh, wait. I shouldn't call you a monkey, should I? Because suddenly he's concerned about that sort of stuff.
Ties her up with
a handkerchief?
Yeah, his tie.
Yeah, or something. But then I guess he bites him and escapes. I couldn't tell what happened. And everyone's kind of standing around.
He's going to live high in the hog.
And
carnival show.
And then like
all his dreams.
Yeah.
You can't see it, George.
No, you can't see what's going on. And like Jasper's like, I'm going to go get the Bigfoot. And Elmer makes a show of saying he's going to leave.
Yeah, he's leaving.
And Elmer's out of the movie.
Elmer just runs away back to the car through the woods, even though his legs are giving out.
His legs hurt. And so it's like Jasper and like One Arm Joe and Slim and the dumb dynamite guy. And then some bikers are with them. And we cut to the Bigfoot slowly chasing after Jiggly Joy. And he grabs her again and she screams him. And then like maybe the bikers are there. I don't know.
They chase him into a cave? Is it a cave?
No. They're going to the mountaintop where Jasper decides they live.
Yes.
You forgot there's a cougar attack.
Oh, yeah. I did forget.
Yeah, cougar jumps out. They shoot the cougar. It's a stock footage.
It's cougar country.
He does say this. I want to get this line in there.
Yeah.
When they see the actual big Bigfoot, Jasper goes, "He's bigger than all of them." Sure enough, he's Bigfoot, the eighth wonder of the world.
Yes.
And then they all get into, there's a big clearing where the big Bigfoot is carrying Joy, who's unconscious. You pick up Joy, she falls asleep. She's narcoleptic.
She fainted.
They put her down. Someone shoots the one-armed guy shoots Bigfoot. His leg blows out. It's actually fairly impressive for this movie.
If I could have seen it, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you could. Oh, because yours was a little bit worse print.
I did.
I love that. I can't imagine my print was so terrible. Yours must have been abysmal.
Yep. Couldn't see.
He picks up Joy again, and I'm like, "Why is this movie not ending?" And Jasper's yelling, $100, no, $500 for whoever brings him in alive.
And all the bikers help him. Oh yeah.
Tim. George's currency. All right. $100. Do you remember? Because you've already had
$800.
You've had $800. $826.79. Tim, some math here.
Yeah.
What would $500 be worth nowadays? If $820.
$1,300.
No, 500.
Mm-hmm.
You think 5 times 800 is 13?
Yeah. Or 15.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Or $4,133.96. Last currency corner.
Close on either side.
He carries her to another clearing.
This happened
Joe
in
shoots him a bunch. Yep.
Dinosaurus, the same thing. $100. No, it was $2 to whoever can help you get that dinosaur. That was the 50s.
True. They're actually very similar characters if you think about it. Joe
Sorry.
shoots the guy. Joe shoots Bigfoot a lot. He falls down. Bigfoot falls down a ridge. Jasper's like, no, my money. Then the slob shows up with the dynamite. He's like, woo! He throws it in there, blows him to shit, and all this stuff falls on him. And One-Armed Joe's like, I finally got him. Finally got him for stealing my arm. And Jasper goes, it wasn't you. It was beauty that did him in. Yeah. And I'm like, how dare you?
I know. How
Like,
dare you?
I was able to accept the levels of like King Kongery you were doing to this point, but how fucking dare you?
And I was very sad and angry for Joy because he puts his arm around her and he's like, let me tell you about this. And she's like, yeah, what? Because she was the smart one at first.
Well, she's all of a sudden not, because like her first thing she says to him, do you think he's really dead? I don't know. They shot him 6 times. He fell into a cliff. They blew him up with dynamite and half a mountain fell on him. Probably. And then Jasper's telling her of his plan to tour the country with her as people admire her jiggliness and hear her story.
Right.
The end.
This was so hard to see, George. I have 3 things that are easier to see than the ending of this film.
Last list.
Yes.
Let's hear it.
3 things easier to see than this film. The smoke coming from the grassy knoll in the Zapruder film.
Oh, I thought you were going to do a conclave thing. But yeah, okay. Yeah, all right.
It's easier to see Jerry Lewis's infamous film, The Day the Crown Cried.
Down the crown cried.
The Day the Clown Cried. Unreleased film about a clown that entertains kids in a concentration camp, if you don't know about that.
You don't need to explain it. Everybody knows that.
It's easier to identify the munchkin who hung himself in the background of that scene in The Wizard of Oz. There you go.
Now we have the part of the show where Tim and George talk about how this movie is like Star Wars and Labyrinth.
Yeah. How is this like Star Wars?
You know that guy in the movie who had a missing arm because Bigfoot tore it off?
Yeah.
Ironically, his nickname was Ponda Baba.
Ponda Baba, a.k.a. Walrus Man. I love that you steered clear of the obvious Chewbacca references. Yes. It was Ponda Baba.
Of course.
Well, you know, the scene, they do have that flashback scene.
Okay.
Where he says, they show the guy, when he's 2-Armed Joe, he goes, I have the death system in 4 counties. And Bigfoot goes, you'll be dead, and rips his arm off. And I like to
that was like, that was okay, you're helping me.
That was me helping you. And in order to say how this was like Labyrinth, the 1986 movie, hey, now also an episode of SETI BIMCO. Listen to it. Yeah. It's rather special.
Last week.
How is this like Labyrinth? It's like a beautiful woman's abducted by a mythological creature for, let's say, less than above the board reasons.
We never know why David Bowie steals that baby.
But David Bowie, the tagline of Labyrinth was David Bowie can breed with anything.
Yes, I was. I forgot.
So yeah. So it's kind of like you read between the lines. You get why I was there.
Wherever you are, wherever you're hiding, I'll find you. I'll get you. I'll get you.
Revenge.
I'll get you.
All right.
So here's our new thing.
It's our new thing because we're being lazy, folks.
Revenge.
We don't want to do as much work anymore.
Still revenge. Yeah.
It's a question of now whether or not this movie even... Because we have made revenge sequels for movies that just straight up did not deserve.
They all deserved it.
Revenge.
I loved it.
Do they all deserve it?
Yeah.
You miss it? So maybe we need to go back, Tim.
No.
Because if they all deserve it, why do we even have a list of whether they deserve it? Because there was a few questions that were unanswered.
So you want to go
in this
first?
Movie I feel need answering. Yeah, I like... And this isn't even like funny necessarily. It's just... Like number one, where was Joy flying to in her orange disco suit?
Yes, I want to know that too.
Like that was and
cocaine
why, number
party.
2, why didn't she have appropriate support garments?
Cocaine party. Same answer.
Cocaine party. Okay, so all right. Why so many Mitchums in this movie?
Ooh, a cocaine party.
Cocaine party. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Who was the hybrid's mama? Cocaine party. Yeah. Why motorbikes? Cocaine party.
Yes.
What did John Carradine need the money for?
A cocaine party.
Cocaine party. The end. That was my list.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Do you think Bigfoot went to a key swapping party in the 70s? That's what you're talking about? It was
That's
a cocaine
how it started,
party?
the idea. It was cocaine. He went there he was like, Bigfoot just want to meet, maybe mother of child. And he did a few lines. He goes, it begins. And then this movie happened.
Then after the party, he says, smells bad. Is that what you say?
Yeah. Smells bad. And then somebody cut him open, 1-Armed Joe, and he goes, I thought he smelled bad on the outside. Yes, tour de force of quotes nobody will understand or even
they do
listen
understand.
to. Tim, what was your
the show is
specialist? Does
evolving.
this movie deserve? We're evolving like the gap.
Yes.
The gap between Neanderthal and human.
Reasons.
I'm saying Neanderthal instead of the more correct Neanderthal because that's how they said it in the movie.
I get confused. I can say Neanderthal because I am part Neanderthal.
You
and
can
that's
say
an insult, but I can say it.
Okay, but you can do it because you're what 90% Neanderthal?
Yes, I am.
Decide? Yeah.
So I made just a few reasons why this movie should have a revenge sequel. So we can see how.
But you're not gonna give it. So if you have a revenge sequel for this, people write into us at SETI BIMCO at the end of gmail.com, because clearly this movie deserves one. We're just too fucking busy drawing our little comic books. Yeah.
Here's one reason. I wanted to see how badly the biker kids beat the shit out of Jasper when they asked for their money. He promised them, and he probably only had like highly valuable mermaid teeth or something in his car. You know, he had no money.
He hired the biker kids?
Remember? He said $100. No, he hired them all. They all came, helped him. Remember?
Oh yes. When
he said, "I'll
when
pay
they're going
you."
to get the
because they were going to leave.
We did a current cruiser. Yeah.
And Goofus guy said, "Well, money's involved." Yeah. He was going to
have dynamite.
He promised to pay them, but he had no money. He knew he had no money.
He had no money. He fixed his car. He wouldn't tie it shut with a. He wouldn't tie the door shut with a straight length of rope.
I also wanted to see a sequel so we could find out how Elmer fared in the woods after he ran off, because he probably twisted his ankle and was eaten by squirrels, just like that scene in Jurassic Park 2.
Do you think maybe he stayed in the woods so long he went bald and eventually became obsessed with hunting a wabbit?
Yes, that was him. And lastly, I wanted to see a young James Cameron, walk into a producer meeting where Bigfoot is written on a blackboard, and he can write "more" on front of the word and "s" after the word Bigfoot. And then he eats the chalk and walks out the door. Yeah.
Do people know the aliens?
I think so.
That's a good one. Okay.
Did people know that the story is, whether true or not, that for when he pitched Aliens the movie, he just walked in and Alien was written on the blackboard and he put an S at the end.
Just put an S.
And then he ate the chalk and walked out.
And he ate the chalk, yeah. Well, they probably know that, but do they know the sequel to that story? The 2 weeks later, after he went to the doctor multiple times, he was getting nervous, he finally passed that chalk. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing, Tim. Okay. The chalk had changed color.
Uh-oh.
When he swallowed it, it had been blue chalk. When it came out, it was white.
Interesting.
Isn't that? I don't know where I'm going with this. Okay. So this, how do you like this new revamped SETI BIMCO? Kind of season 4.
Call and complain,
we were doing this
suckers.
Call and complain.
Tell
right
us,
in.
Suckers.
Write
not
to us at
change
SETI
it.
BIMCO with an E at the end of gmail.com. We probably are, because I don't think Tim could go without writing one of his really weird winding sequels.
When I say
do we have any mail?
Suckers, I'm talking about Kevin Cablasto.
I thought you were talking about the gripper parts of an octopus.
Yeah, you know what else is happening on the Bat and Spider Discord? Also, they're all talking about Mark Twain now, because Cablasto called their anniversary show pretending to be Mark Twain. I'm like, Mark Twain is our territory.
They don't even know the rich Mark Twain history. That's the thing, because they don't listen to us.
They're getting our leftovers. They're making me mad now that we.
I know. Now I think we have to reopen it. I love that this revamping of our show is going to end up being a complete slide back, because you're not going to be able to not write stories. We're not going to be able to not be in a feud with Bat and Spider. It's going to be the same old.
I am happy, but I'm checking the letterbox. We have no emails.
Okay, no emails.
Whew. You know what, George? I have such a big list of movies I've been waiting to watch, but it's your turn to pick. You're going to be so surprised at the things I've found.
I hope so. Well, so yeah, Tim. So it is, and so we never did establish a new theme. I think we're like kind of themed out after our 50 Nifty. But I did have inspiration from the movie you chose.
Okay.
So Bigfoot 1970. If you go to the Wikipedia page, there is the somewhat spurious claim that there was in 2012 was a possible remake of sorts.
You mentioned this.
They don't sound very confident of this, and even the most remedial amount of research shows there's no connection between these two movies, other than that they're called Bigfoot. But the movie for next week's episode of SETI BIMCO is 2012's Bigfoot, starring Danny Bonaducci, Barry, one of the Brady's, I forget which one, Williams.
Nice.
Sherilyn Fenn and Alice Cooper.
Oh,
Sherilyn Fenn from Twin Peaks.
What
is she doing in this movie? It's a made-for-TV sci-fi movie. I have actually seen this. It's awful.
How are people going to tell these apart when I put them on our website?
You have to do Bigfoot 1970, but there is actually, I think, maybe a full title of Bigfoot 2012.
Okay.
Like we could use why don't we use the taglines?
Does
Bigfoot 1970, Bigfoot will breed with anything. Bigfoot 2012, I think it's The Legend Reborn or some bullshit.
It's not Bigfoot will breed with anything. I can't believe they didn't use that.
Oh, they just go, well, because it's a 2012 and it's like edgelord territory. It's like Bigfoot fucks.
Sounds amazing.
So, yeah,
I cannot wait.
I hope we could have a special feature where we compare the possible remakes. They're definitely not remakes. They're just two movies named Bigfoot. I wonder if we could do a whole month of Bigfoot, because there's probably other movies named Bigfoot.
We've already used up so many.
Bigfoot. Yeah.
But we can have you got to plan ahead. Is this already Bigfoot month? Do you want me to find another Bigfoot after this?
I'm just saying. Some of my favorite things that we've done in SETI BIMCO have been the instances when we have had themes that originate out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Like the way we did Jack Weiss.
Yep. The way we did.
We had a Jack Weiss almost month, and we didn't plan that. It was an escalating series of dares that got out of hand.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
It's our Bigfoot dare. Or Sasquatch, as Native Americans call them. That's what he said in the movie. You missed that. He's like, the Native Americans call them Sasquatch.
Yeah, his wife says Sasquatch when she first shows Sasquatch.
All right. That's good. That's a good time.
It's a good time.
Yep. Curse you, Bat and Spider, for stealing Mark Twain.
Well, it gets the feuds back on. All right.
But
Tim, do you see what I'm holding up here? It's the surrender flag they sent me. Do you see what I'm doing with it?
Blowing your nose.
That's right. I'm blowing it, and now I'm keystering it. It's being destroyed. We no longer accept your defeat. We are coming for you, Bat and Spider. That being said, if there's any other podcasts that want to have a feud with us, Tim and I, you could hear us. We're fighting mad. We're full of piss and vinegar and other fluids. We are ready to come for you and just go at you.
Retrospection. I just heard you put your last ad for us up. Because they do every other week, and theirs went longer than ours. So.
But retrospection, you scratch our back, we'll come at you with claws and fang. We'll go right for your face. We're ready to fight you. Just let us know, retrospection.
They're polite British folk. So
I know, but yeah. If only the people from the States had a history of fighting people from Britain.
Yes.
Let's hope it's just, all right.
End it. Go your own way.
Yes. Right. Yep. Oh, yeah.
Love for your brother.
Stay good. Don't
give up.
Stay frosty.
Goodbye.
This has been a Pity Party Line production.
Party line. It's a party line.
Poor Liz.
We are stumbling around blindly in the dark. We are a podcast without a mission.
I planned this out.
Without purpose. I mean, I shudder to think what happens the next time Cablasto shows up, because that guy's going to just tear this place to the ground.